Hello everybody. So last week I came to you and I told you about my favorite tooltip organizational hack, which had to do with my binder with all of the paper. And I had tons of questions on, okay, well, once you take the cover sheets out, how do you store your paper? So I just wanted to show you, this is kind of my wall where all my paper is. It's a Kallax cube. It sits right behind me at my desk, so everything is within grabbing distance for me. And you can see that I have my cardstock by color sorted on the top, and over there is my whites and a bunch of specialty papers. And then down here is where I store all of my collections, and they are alphabetical, starting with Aussie Adventures. And I have each of my folders labeled with the collection name and put into a file folder. And it just depends on the size of the collection. So this collection, Aussie Adventures, is very small. So I just use a simple power sleeve and slide everything inside of it. Some of my other collections are much bigger, and so I put them into a project folder like this one, where I just slide the borders in there, I slide the stickers, everything just gets slid in, and then it gets labeled on the side and put alphabetically. So that's these first two sections. These next two sections are just sorted by category. So the first portion of this is beach, and the second portion of this, deeper in the woods, is more outdoor stuff. And then I have winter over here. And then lastly, this is all of my, it's kind of my travel international stuff. So I have Stars and Stripes, but this is also alphabetical. I have Rome. What do I have here? I can't even see. Great Lakes. So this is just my international, more state-driven stuff. So that is how I organize it. And I'm going to switch to my desk to show you the folders of how I put the paper. So I've collected different folders throughout the year. So some of my folders that you might have noticed are blue. Some of them are Croptoberfest driven. Some of them are, they might have a picture of a design on them, Passport to Adventure or whatever. But there's essentially three types of collections of folders that I use. The first is just the power sleeve. That was the one that I showed you on the floor. That is when I have a very simple collection. There's not much to it. It's just a little paper, maybe some stickers. That's what I have here in this Aussie Adventures. Sometimes I have a little bit more in my collections, and in that case, I use these power folders where you slide everything in. That's what I've used here. This one I don't even think is Creative Memories. I'm not sure where I purchased this folder from, but I just slide the whole collection in, and again I just label it on the side. And then the last is when I have a super big collection like Tropic Time. This is when I use the project folders, the Power Project folders. I put embellishments, I slide in my mat cards, all of my paper is here in the center, and then on the back side I have stickers, letter stickers, and it's all organized. It's a much bigger collection. Again, I label it on the side, and everything gets put alphabetically on my shelf with the exception of a few categories. So beach is its own section, outdoors is its own section, international is its own section, and winter is its own section. And then actually Christmas is its own section too, and it's not on my shelf. I have that in a pod just because I'm not doing Christmas a lot, and if I am doing Christmas, it's usually close to Christmas, and I just pull out that whole pod and leave it on the side of my desk. So that is how I organize my paper. I hope that that helps. Again, the system is working for me. It's very organized. I can just reach right around from my desk and grab whatever I need. The binder helps me to sort quickly through all of the papers, and that's it. Oh, and by the way, a lot of you asked about these cover sheets. So I had more than one collection of Heartfelt Noteworthy Days. So that's why you see it in this folder. One of the collection's noteworthy days went into my binder, and the other one, since I had an extra, just slides in here. And then when I'm done with the collection, or when I've used the collection, I actually use the back sides of these papers for scratch. So that's why you saw this one in here. Okay, I think that's everything. If you have any questions, let me know. And otherwise, I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. All right, thanks.